Okay, so we are going to continue talking about communication and communication within our business and with our clients. There's so many different forms of communication. It's really worth the time and effort that you're willing to put into it. So today's focus is on different communication channels. Now, we already talked about email communication. That's a big one. And then there's different platforms like Slack or Teams or Voxer, okay? So this is just my take on those three and all of the clients I've worked with. Voxer tends to be very popular within the business coaching industry. However, I think it's one of the worst when it comes to communication because it is hard to organize. There's lots of voice content, which is, it's difficult to go back and find things that were said or find information you need to find. You cannot track projects on there. So I would say, like, if you want Voxer, if that's something you enjoy, you can figure out how you're going to utilize that for your business. Or if a client uses Voxer, you're going to have to figure out how to utilize that as well. However, for these types of communication platforms, Slack and Teams are the highest quality and easiest to use. They're very common, so most people at least know one of them. Teams is through Microsoft. It is a paid app, and so not as many people know that. A lot of people understand Slack, which is what we're going to cover today. So you can create a free Slack account like all these other platforms. There is a paid version. You don't need the paid version, at least not at this point. Slack does have a mobile app and it works well. I like the Slack mobile app. So it's one of the few apps that I think are useful. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can share my Slack screen here. Okay, so I made this mock Slack account. And when you log into Slack, you're just going to have one thing here on the side. And basically, these are going to be, you can make one Slack board for each client, or it might be your client has a Slack group that they're going to invite you to. But basically, you click on the one that you want to go into, and you're going to have different channels here. So basically, a channel is a topic of communication. So for here, like in this situation, we have content creation, general, so just anything about the business. You might have a specific, let's say we're going to create a new channel here, and it's going to be like March launch. So if we have a big launch coming up, we're going to create a channel just for this launch. And then you can decide if every member on this team needs access to it, or if it's just going to be specific members. So there might be only certain people who need to work on the launch. Not everyone on your team needs to be involved in the launch, which is unlikely for a launch. But in this case, we'll just do this, okay? And so now we have a channel here, and maybe here's where you can do like updated launch timeline. And then you post a link to the timeline. Or maybe you can say like, an update on the ads for that launch. So basically, you're just going to have different channels for different groups or different buckets within that client's work. And I do encourage you to try to keep a different like project or board, whatever you want to call these, for each client, because when someone joins this board, they're all allowed, I think it's like general and random. Everyone can see these. And so if you have multiple clients in here, they're going to see everything that you and your team put in here. They're going to see everything you and your team put in this one. Or if they put stuff in there, they're going to see each other's stuff. So it's better just to have one of these per client if they don't already have a form of team communication set up. And we only want to have really one main form of communication for a business, because we don't want to be logging on or have our team log on, or really anyone to log on and have to check 7 different channels to see what's going on. We want one place that we go to see the updates for the day. Now, one thing I really like to do in here, so once you have a team, I always call this the daily huddle, okay? And what you're going to do is just people are going to update for the day. Like a team could be like, hey team, I hope you're having a great day. I'm working on launch graphics today. Let me know if you need anything. And it just gives an idea to the team what everyone's currently working on. And it's not micromanaging as much as like, oh, like I have a question about this, and they can see, oh, I know who to go to because they're the one working on this. We could also go to Asana, our project management system, but now we know so-and-so is working on this today. Or it can prompt something, be like, oh, I forgot to tell them about da da da, and I see they're working on that today. I really need to get in touch right now. Okay. And then we can also direct message our teammates on here. So it's like a chat feature where you can have those private conversations. So I really like Slack. You can use Zapier to automate this with your project management system or automate it with Google Drive. It's just a great option for communication.